Let's say you opened someone's chest and had a look inside. If you remove the heart and lungs, then in front of the back ribs, on each side of the spinal column, you'd see clusters of nerves, arranged like pearls on a necklace. About the turn of the 20th century, the great English physiologist John Newport Langley named this part of the nervous system the autonomic nervous system, because he viewed these nerves as functioning autonomously of the central nervous system. I think of this system more as the automatic nervous system because of its many roles in automatic, involuntary, unconscious actions in maintaining the inner world of the body. Nevertheless, the phrase autonomic nervous system stuck. To convey what the ganglia of the autonomic nervous system do, think of how electricity is delivered to your house. From the generator plant and distribution center come thick, high voltage lines that transmit electricity along large towers. Outside your house is a utility pole that contains a transformer, and from the utility pole, much thinner, low voltage wires connect to the house. The ganglia act like transformer boxes. The nerves from the spinal cord are called preganglionic. They're thick, they conduct quickly, because they have a myelin sheath. The nerves from the ganglia to the target organs are postganglionic. They're thin, they conduct slowly, and they have no myelin sheath. Langley also introduced the notion that the autonomic nervous system has parts. Langley's autonomic nervous system contained three components. One is the enteric nervous system, or ENS. Enteric refers to the gut, and ENS neurons are in layers of the wall of the gastrointestinal tract. Enteric nerves play a key part in peristalsis, the coordinated movement of gastrointestinal contents through the hollow tube that is the gut. A second component of the autonomic nervous system was also named by Langley, the parasympathetic nervous system, abbreviated PNS here. The parasympathetic nervous system is in several ways a vegetative system, involved with digestion and conversion of ingested foodstuffs into usable energy. The third part of Langley's autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system, the SNS. This term Langley didn't invent. Instead, the idea of the sympathetic nervous system comes from the teachings of Galen, the 2nd century Greek physician whose ideas dominated medical thought and practice for 14 centuries. Galen taught that the body has spirits, animal, vital, and natural, and he considered the nerves to be conduits for delivering the animal spirit to body organs. The organs would then function in harmony or in sympathy with each other. The idea of the sympathetic nervous system coordinating functions of body organs is essentially correct. A couple of decades after Langley formulated his idea of the autonomic nervous system, the great American physiologist Walter B. Cannon added what can be considered to be a fourth component, although it doesn't consist of nerves. This is the adrenal gland. Cannon discovered that emotional stress releases a substance from the adrenal gland into the bloodstream, a hormone, adrenaline. And in this schema, the part of the autonomic nervous system involved with adrenaline release by the adrenal gland is called the sympathetic adrenergic system, or SAS. Cannon taught that the sympathetic nervous system and adrenal gland act as a functional unit in emergencies. This functional unit is sometimes called the sympathico-adrenal system or sympathoadrenal system. The sympathoadrenal system would mediate the bodily changes in fight or flight situations. Fight or flight is a phrase that Cannon coined. Cannon viewed the sympathoadrenal system as the key effector for maintaining homeostasis, a word he invented. Homeostasis refers to an ideal goal set of internal steady states, so that the body's cells are bathed in a constant fluid environment. In the 1930s, Sir Henry Dale added what may be considered a fifth component of the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic cholinergic system, or SCS. The sympathetic cholinergic system is responsible for sweating. The components of the autonomic nervous system have particular chemical messengers. The chemical messenger of the parasympathetic nervous system is acetylcholine, and the PNS is cholinergic. Otto Lowy discovered acetylcholine, the first identified neurotransmitter. As shown here, acetylcholine contains a quaternary ammonium ion. Acetylcholine released from parasympathetic nerves produces many effects in the body, including increasing the tone of the urinary bladder and bowel, increasing gastric acid secretion, stimulating salivation and tear production, and decreasing the heart rate. Acetylcholine released from sympathetic cholinergic nerves at sweat glands causes perspiration, which is classified as thermoregulatory, gustatory, such as when you sweat on your forehead after eating hot chili peppers, and emotional. Epinephrine, or adrenaline, produces prominent cardiovascular effects. Probably the effect occurring at the lowest concentration is relaxation of blood vessels in skeletal muscle, so that skeletal muscle and total peripheral resistances to blood flow decrease. Heart rate increases, and because of constriction of blood vessels in the skin, adrenaline produces pallor. Adrenaline has the structure of a catecholamine, as shown here, a catechol nucleus with a hydrocarbon tail ending in an amine group. Adrenaline is also one of the three main hormones for regulating glucose levels. The last chemical messenger of the autonomic nervous system to be identified was norepinephrine, or noradrenaline. This was in the mid-1940s by the Swedish physiologist U.S. von Euler. Norepinephrine is the main chemical messenger of the sympathetic nervous system responsible for regulation of the cardiovascular system. The SNS in this schema refers specifically to the sympathetic noradrenergic system, in distinction from the sympathetic adrenergic system and the sympathetic cholinergic system. There is no single neurotransmitter of the enteric nervous system. Most of the serotonin and dopamine made in the body are produced in the ENS. Acetylcholine is another enteric neurotransmitter, but there are many others. In summary, the autonomic nervous system is in many ways the automatic nervous system because it is responsible for automatic, involuntary, unconscious events that help regulate the inner world of the body. The system has multiple components, including the enteric, parasympathetic, sympathetic cholinergic, sympathetic adrenergic, and sympathetic noradrenergic systems. And the chemical messengers of the autonomic nervous system include the neurotransmitters acetylcholine and norepinephrine, and the hormone adrenaline.